Hello grade 7. This video is about linear relationship. First, let's learn how to graph an equation or a function. Given a function which is y equal to 3x times 2, meaning that if you don't see a symbol between 3 and x, this means 3 times x. So this is actually 3 times x minus 2. It's easier for you to graph a function if you make a function table or table of values. So let's have that in this side. Okay, now I have chosen values 0, 1, 2, 3 for x. So to find the value of y, all we have to do is substitute 0 for x. So for the first pair, when we substitute 0 to x, 3 times 0 is 0 minus 2, then you will get negative 2. Okay, let's keep on doing the same method. Okay, so then let's replace x by 1. So 3 times 1 is 3 minus 2, and then you have 1. And then on the next one, let's replace x by 2. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 2, so your y is 4. And then the last one, for the last pair, 3, let's replace 3 to x. So 3 times 3 is 9 minus 2, you will have 7. So by looking at the table, that means that now we have 4 points in the graph, and these are your coordinates. This is the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate. So I'll have our coordinate plane. The first point is 0, negative 2. Remember that the x is at the horizontal line and then y is at the vertical line. Okay, so let's graph or plot 0, negative 2. Okay, so then 0 here for x, and then on the y is negative 2. That's your point 0, negative 2. Okay, the second point is 1, 1. So let's find 1, 1. At x is 1 and then y 1, you have the point there. So that's point 1, 1. The third point is 2, 4. So x is 2 and then at y it's 4, so that's your 2, 4 point. The last one is 3, 7. So from the x-axis 3 and then from the y is 7, so your point ended up here, and that's point 3, 7. Okay, now that you have plotted all the points, don't forget to connect the points, and that will give you a straight line. So that means this line is called the function y is equal to 3x minus 2. So we are labeling our line. This function y is equal to 3x minus 2, there are many points on the line, but these are what we identified here. We identified 4, but there are many points along this line or along this function. Okay, let's have another example of graphing a function. Okay, if your function is y is equal to 2x plus 5, remember that when you don't see a symbol, that means it's multiplication. Again, let's have a function table. Okay, so here I have 3 values for x, 0, 1, and then 2. The same thing that we did previously, let's replace x by 0. So 2 times 0 is 0 plus 5, so your y is 5. Now for the next, let's replace x by 1. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus 5, you'll have 7. For the last one, 2 times 2 is 4 plus 5 equals 9. So you have 9 over there. Now you just created or calculated 3 points on your graph. Say, let's graph them. Okay, just like what I told you before, the horizontal line is your x-axis and then the vertical line is your y-axis. Let's graph or plot our first point, which is 0, 5. And that will be there over here. The second point is 1, 7. So from 1 at the x here, and then you move up, that's 7, so that's your second point, 1, 7. The last point is 2, 9, and that's 2, 9. And then again, don't forget to connect the points by a straight line. That's your line. And then lastly, label your line by its function. So that's y is equal to 2x plus 5. Now later I'm going to ask you to graph. And if you're wondering what values of x you're going to assign, I would like you to use -2, -1, 0, 1, and then 2. So that means that you will be plotting 5 points, okay? And you have 2 negative values and 2 positive values and 0. Okay, now just like what I have told you before, let's go back to the graph. There are many points lying on the same line, but in here, we only identified 3 points. Now for the next slide, okay, we're going to talk about how do we find out when you're given a point if that point belongs to the given equation. So for example, I have one point here which is 1, 2, and then the equation is y is equal to 2x minus 1. How do we know that 0.12 lies on this equation if we graph this or if we make a line? Okay, simple. Just remember that the first number in your coordinate pair is always the x value, is always the x, that's your x coordinate, and then the second number is always your y coordinate. So simply substitute 1 to x and substitute 2 to y. Let's do that. So as you can see, these 2 we substituted for y, and this one we substituted for x. Now let's see if this equation is true. So 2 times 1 is 2 minus 1. That gives you 2 minus 1. So then on this side, at the right hand side, 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. That means that 2 is not equal to 1. So our answer is no. 0.12 does not lie in the equation y is equal to 2x minus 1. Okay? Another example. How about the point -3, -4? Does it lie to the equation y is equal to 1 plus x? So let's check. Let's do the substitution. We said that the second number is the y value, so we substituted -4 for y, and then we substituted -3 for x. So when we compute, is -4 equal to 1 plus -3. 1 plus -3 is -2. So we know -4 and -2 are not equal. So this means that point -3, -4 does not lie on the equation 1 plus x. So the answer is no. Okay, last example. How about 0.13? Does it lie on or in equation y is equal to x plus 2? Okay, again, it's a simple substitution. You substitute 1 to your x and substitute 3 to y. The order is always x, y for your coordinates. So don't get confused. So now let's substitute the values. Here you go. You see the y has become 3 and then the x here became 1. So let's check, are they equal? The left-hand value, is it equal to the right-hand value? Yes, because 1 plus 2 is 3, so we have the same. So 3 is equal to 3. That means 0.13 lies on equation y is equal to x plus 2. Yes. Okay, now I'm going to stop here and I hope you understand. If you don't, you can always watch the video and watch it slowly and do some of the problems on your own before you keep on watching. Okay, at this point, I would like you to do the independent activity to check your understanding. Okay, bye grade 7.